I just wanted to make this little video to kind of show you guys what's going on. You might be watching this video, you're sitting at home, you're looking on the internet, you might be looking for a traveling experience, but you don't want to just travel, you want to learn while you travel. Well, I'm telling you right now, I've been coming to Uganda since 2004, and this place is a tropical paradise. If you want to experience Africa, if you want to experience African culture and African traditions, and you want to see what Africa is all about, it's East Africa, Uganda is the place to come. They call it the Pearl of Africa for a reason. This is not by any means a desolate, dry, starving place. This is a very lush and flourishing country in many ways. It does have a lot of the issues that are associated with sub-Saharan African countries. So I'm not saying that the whole place is a paradise or a Garden of Eden, but this is what we're working towards as we take courses like the Permaculture Design Certificate. So we're working towards creating beautiful, abundant environments that are healthy and, most importantly, functional and practical. Okay, we're talking about very low cost systems, very low maintenance systems, working with nature to be able to provide people and communities with the needed, energies that they need. And we're talking nutrition, we're talking electricity, we're talking solar, we're talking information, and all kinds of the energies that people need to be able to have a healthy and productive lifestyle. And it truly works. Please keep researching permaculture. This is the #1 system out there right now that can get you on the fast track to sustainability. And not just the type of sustainability you talk about, but the sustainability that actually starts to manifest around you as you begin to understand these concepts that are taught in courses like this and by teachers like Jesse Lemieux. I couldn't be happier to see all these international people mingling with the local people, and we've got an amazing group of students. We've got people that are running orphanages, aid projects that deal with agricultural practices. Previously, they were hooked on chemical farming and typical agricultural practices, which are surely degrading the landscapes and actually ruining the land, which these people are trying to get and get their lifestyles out of and get their livelihood out of. Permaculture changes all of that.
Way to design our lives so it's a lot more fun, and I think that's something interesting that Jesse's really stressing is that if it's not fun, then it's not sustainable because we're not going to continue doing it.
Dude, I didn't think I could actually learn this much in so short of a time.
But yeah, the concepts are they seem complex, but once you hear them, you're like, oh, this is something I can understand because it just makes sense.
Very good to learn about permaculture because I learned how I can design my gardens and how I can do organic farming and how I can make ponds in my gardens.
I'm very, very, very happy with how focused the program is on conserving the land and turning degraded land or poor land into good land.
The Ugandans that are here in the course with us are just really appreciative that we've come here.
Oh man, Uganda is so awesome. If you like eternal summer and a little bit lax on the rules and do your own thing, this is the place to be for sure.
But later on, it's really something to me.
The course has been so interesting in that we learn things that are real things, like about forest designs, nature designs, soils, about that. Actually, I think such course should be taken to all, as in most parts of the country.
And I think it's worth it. It's valuable knowledge. Things that you learn here you can take away for the rest of your life and start your own business. It's provide food for yourself and your family, become fully self-sufficient from the knowledge that you've been going to do. So I think it's totally worth it.
Okay, I can think of it now. When I realized that, what am I going to do with all my free time once I actually apply these systems? The nature will do the work for me. We think that we have to do so much work. All my gardening, everything I did was always so structured around how much work I had to put into it. And even my dad pushed into me this mentality that farming is hard work, and it's been so ingrained in us that we think it's hard work. But when you look at this system, nature is such a powerful force, and it's always trying to work, and we're constantly stopping it from working. And now once we understand how it actually works, just a few simple fundamental basics, what are we going to do with all our free time?
My favorite thing I learned was working with water. It's my favorite thing because I grew up in Kampala is a swamp actually. The main city of Uganda is a swamp. So, and the reason why it floods a lot, 90% of all the water in Kampala, they don't know what to do with it. So if these people learn how to use that water properly, like as they do teach in permaculture, how to divert and use the waters and soils and dams and everything, we don't have this problem of flooding. You've seen the floods on the way where you're going back home. So if they learn how to use that water, the city will be very beautiful.
Favorite thing I've learned so far is that everything is really connected and that nothing is separate. So you can't think in a way that we used to. It's just not going to work.
My first reaction at first when we started the class, when we entered into a lecture room, it's like it's not coming up. What I'd expected was not coming up, but later on it's really something to me. I'm seeing it's giving me some better information about agriculture, how to design and so forth. And so I imagine ahead of me I'm going to do something wonderful.
The major thing would be, I think, water conservation and harvesting, because what's been happening because of the changes in weather and climate, we've had issues with communities facing a huge problem with drought, and I think that's because they've been using this conventional kind of agriculture where they strip the land of everything and just leave it bare, which makes most of the water run out of the soil. So with ideas like swells and like keeping the water in your land as much as you can.
Favorite concept, I guess, would have to be the fact that you don't have to manipulate nature. Rather, you just have to work with it.
My favorite thing about permaculture. That's a tough one. It's just I just like that it's an all-inclusive system. I mean, you can feed your whole family, you can feed a community, you can run your own business with it, you can really generate a profit, and you can connect with the earth in a way where you're really respecting it and working with it in a positive way. I like that.
Two things be?
Two things is like growing trees and food forests. Those are the main two things I've seen that we really need to stop cutting out the trees, and for our universe, for our country Uganda to have food, to really have fertile land, we should focusing on planting more trees and food forests and really take care of the land. There's so many other aspects of the course which are really important. I mean, the whole package is so amazing that you cannot do without the other thing, or you cannot do without knowing where you stay. You cannot do without even understanding the water systems in your country, the wind, how the sun is moving, or the moon. So I mean, the whole thing, to me, planting trees is really great, and the food forestry. But to me, you really have to really understand from the core that to plant trees, how am I going to plant them on this piece of land, and how are they going to really serve their full purpose.
Now we want to take the top off. That really, it'll help ensure its survival. So we've already put comfrey in here, and now we're going to plug in this lemongrass. So we got basically the comfrey, which is going to come up, and then we'll have a nice tight lemongrass border, and that'll keep our grasses out of this system. these perennial grasses, the running grasses, come from coming in and choking out. This is an often overlooked aspect of any garden, is what you do on the edges. It's the edges, on that edge we have the edge of fertility along the compost pile, and on this edge we have this ecosystem here has got the pressure right now. So while this is establishing itself, it's not going to have the energy to keep it back, so we got to get in our first line of defense. And so we're using a clumping grass and comfrey, and we'll put canna lily in later. So we'll have this nice deep taproot of the comfrey. That'll grow into a comfrey, by the way.
Let's see how big you cut them.
Transplant these. Yeah, we can, and that's the other thing too, is that this turns into a little nursery. And so we can pull this out, divide them, transplant them, and keep going, and we can use them when we're establishing other gardens. That is totally a legume pattern. But then, like, the more you train yourself to do this, the more it becomes obvious. You start to just pick it out. Whenever I go anywhere, this is the first thing I look for, because it's like a flag in the wind. Where am I? Where am I? And you find that when anywhere people go, it's pretty much the same group of weedy species. There's a plant that grows here called comfrey. You familiar with that one? Yeah. Comfrey grows here, right at the equator, all the way up into the subarctic. Comfrey, one plant, can grow in all conditions from the equator to the subarctic. That is an impressive plant. Comfrey, it follows people everywhere.
This is, directly in line with what I think the world needs. We need to have spaces to learn and to grow together, and the amount of time that we have to sit, actually the days are flying by. The course that Jesse's offering is very interesting. He's an excellent teacher as far as being articulate and exciting to listen to, and so I really appreciate that.
What do you think about Jesse?
JC, cool guy, definitely cool guy. Like, and not in the aspect of him being the teacher, but like as a person, like because it's not like we're in class 24/7, but when you get to interact with him on a personal level, like he's one of the coolest old guys I've met. I don't know if he's old or something, but he's definitely probably older than me. So he's a really cool guy, and I believe that he has nature and conservation at heart. Like, it's not something that he just does as a job. Like when you hear him speak, I think you feel that passion and dream that he has for nature and conserving it is quite amazing. Yeah.
It's my first time to sleep in a tent. When I reached here, I saw tents, and I'm like, oh, I've never slept in a tent. I don't know what it feels like, and it's like it's in a bush. But when we went in the tent, it's unbelievable. Something very nice, so fresh and comfortable.
Jesse's teaching style. His style's good, man. It shows that he's done a bunch of courses before. Like he's I can tell that he's learned from a couple things that he's changed from his past courses, and so what he's doing now is very good.
Awesome.
The time management and everything that he puts together and the content is just the right time for everybody to absorb what he's saying, process it, and then come back for the next session and go fresh again.
Look at the difference in soil here. Look at that in comparison to under your feet. You see that quality it has? Yeah. It's got the little balls. It has space. It has roots in it. And look at that. I can dig her. That's what that is. And look, when you rub the soil like that, and that material that fills in your finger, in your fingerprints, that's colloidal material. Look at this mulch layer. That mulch layer is moist and wet. You feel that greasiness?
Yeah, right.
Feel that greasiness. It hasn't rained in a couple days, and that greasiness, that's humus. Okay, those leaves have turned to humus now. So that humus is holding fertility and nutrient.
So far, I think I really like the ethics of permaculture, about people care, earth care, and caring for the environment around you and making sure that it stays alive.
And sustainable.
Yeah. I wanted to try and be like one of the youngest people to teach a course, actually. So I want to get as much experience as I can right after the course, and then try and apply for a teaching position somewhere, if I can.
That's a good idea. What are you going to do now that you're a certified permaculturalist?
Double certified. What am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to go back home and start applying permaculture in my own small little garden, which is in the middle of a city. And I'll be there for a few months where I'm going to be raising some funds to come back here. And I want to buy some land here in Uganda. I want to start a small-scale operation of creating medicinal herb products and natural soaps and detergents and things. I find that there's a really, really small market, small to almost non-existent market of natural products here, and people use products. They use laundry detergent so much and soaps, and it's all just ending up in our groundwater. So that concerns me. So I'd love to start an operation with that. Maybe integrate that with some sort of community building group where I could teach women how to make these things and they could sell them for themselves.
This location is beautiful. It's nice and peaceful. It's quiet, beautiful smells, lots to look at. So I think it's a perfect spot to do a permaculture course. And of course, the food is delicious, and the people are wonderful. So it's an all-round great experience.
Come on out. Just like pack up your bags and come. Like it's Uganda is the best place you can be in. Like it has all lots of very hospitable people, very friendly people, very happy people. The climate is very good. The political stuff can always shift here and there, but I guess the same thing happens elsewhere in the world, so that shouldn't hinder you from coming out.
The food is so nice, man. Eating healthy here is where it's at, and this is where you can do it. Like, you get fresh vegetables and fresh every day. It's just like it's so much better than living a North American lifestyle and just going fast food all the time.
It's totally not what I thought it was. I made sure to throw away all the expectations of what I had, because people have strange ideas. They see a few things and they think that everything's like that. Like if we took Vancouver and only showed people pictures of East Hastings, they'd have a totally different idea than what it actually is. The people are always friendly, and I love it here. The colors are so vibrant here, like the greens and the browns of the soil.
I mean, you're getting to stay in this beautiful place. You're getting all your food provided for, which I think from the next few courses, these gardens are just going to be more and more intense and amazing, and we'll be getting all this fresh food from them to eat. So I think that would be really good. And I think it's worth it. It's valuable knowledge. The things that you learn here you can take away for the rest of your life and start your own business and provide food for yourself and your family and become fully self-sufficient from the knowledge that you've learned here. So I think it's totally worth it. Go for it!
Yeah! Connect for it. This is the education. This is the kind of education we want in Uganda. Me personally, it has taught me how to really put hands on stuff, don't just talk about stuff and think about what is supposed to be done and you don't really act. So those Ugandans who are out there who want to take the permaculture course, this is the right time, and it's the right timing to really come on board and experience a whole new world in nature, in plants, in farming, in agriculture, all of that thing, design on land. It's been great. We really thank the people who have been organizing to really make this course happen here. Our teacher Jesse was an amazing teacher, and I really thank his wife to really allow him to come and teach the course in Africa. That was so good. Yeah.